They told me boys don't cry or play with Barbies. So my whole life I've tried my hardest to be the man that they wanted me to be.
Wingless, the end meets the beginning arc. Good to see you, the hidden you. The earth was made so that the sun god and moon god could walk upon it, fall in love, and rule it. But before that, the earth was made to showcase the play Tsuki, the moon god, me, had written. It was to cure my loneliness made and given by the one who swore he'll love me. He never really did look at me since 13 years ago. The one his eyes always followed was Kage. But he accidentally found out Tsuki was making Earth, along with the journal I wrote the play in. He just took one glance at the prototype Earth and said, "Can I have the right to do the parallel world stuff? It looks blazing." Of course, I said yes. Didn't think he'd write a love story between him and Kage, though. He either stopped loving me or never loved me. He just kept me because Seiza already had Kage. You're welcome. I wasn't thanking you, but thanks. Even if it's not a great relationship, at least I had a chance with him, right? Tsuki tipped Moon's head to place a kiss on Moon's forehead. Moon didn't complain, he just wallowed in the loneliness, poured into that one kiss. Right, but Kage also failed to be faithful to me. His eyes that used to look at me and only me were filled with a reflection of he. I couldn't get in the way of his happiness. He did change him for the best. I still remember when he never smiled at others before he met he. He's only ever smiled at me. Heck, I tried to make him smile at others. I really did try. I made silly comments, silly personas, even copied the infamous Tsukushi Oikawa personality. But nothing. Yet he just barged into Kage's life. And after a year, he smiled at people that weren't me. Fucking broke my heart, but hey, I got Tsuki to cry with me. We got a whole pile of moonstones and stardust in our separate realms that he and Kage found. They played with it and each took a lot, then disappeared. Kage came back with moonstones sticking to his clothes and hair, while he ran to Tsuki, leaving stardust in his trails. Our own tears, played by the people responsible for them. Ridiculous. They were together, always, never separated. I mean, if you're gonna leave, can you leave now? Are you divorcing us? The shadow beneath Tsuki's crescent moon and the stars that went out from below Seiza danced around in the wind. It then formed into he and Kage, hand in hand. Of course you'd show up hand in hand. Immediately, both got flinched away from each other and unclasped their hand. So when were you going to tell us, Kage-sama? Tsuki pushed his face into Moon's hair. Moon patted his head, giving the smallest form of comfort. Seiza faced the opposite way from the two and laid sideways on the floor. When were you gonna tell us, he-sama? Can you please call us like you used to? I do believe things aren't like it used to be. Tsuki's right. Calling another god without honorifics is kind of disrespectful when not intimate. We're your husbands. Tell me, Kage-sama, when you were playing with moonstones and stardust, did you know you were playing with your husband's tears? Or were you oblivious to the fact that your husbands never cried in front of you? Did your godlinesses even realize our smiles we showed were most practiced? Even our laughter were sometimes forced. Or even the fact you only shared to us your troubles, not your happiness. Have you forgotten how long we've been together? Of course not. I've been with Seiza for 450 years. And I've been with Tsuki for 305 years. And in that 450 years, have you smiled at another god before meeting he? 305 years? Are you joking? He, We've been together for 318 years. Kage, you've been with Seiza for 463 years. Unbelievable. A god's time with a god they love will show only to them. Your counter stopped counting after you met with each other. That's all we needed to know. It was clear from the moment Hisama changed the play for the parallel world. Hisama. There it was again, the one thing he never wanted Tsuki to call him. But it was his fault too. No matter how much he could reason out, it was true. They never realized their husbands were faking the happiness they showed. I should have ended it then. Moon felt his hair getting damp and soon tears rolled on his scalp, turning to moonstones once hitting the crescent moon. Seiza wasn't any different. His shoulders were shaking a bit while he bit his lips, drawing blood. I, Tsuki, request a formal and official separation and void our bonding as of today until forever. I, Seiza, request a formal separation and void the bonding made as of today until forever. Gold cursive letters flowed into the air and appeared in front of He and Kage, turning into paper in their hands once finished assembling. You can't do this. Please. Tsuki, you're kidding, right? Please tell me you are. Tsuki? Hisama, I really hope you call me with honorifics. Besides, you were away with Kage-sama for 3 years. Seiza saw you from afar but didn't bother. You two looked happy, sleeping against each other. Didn't want to interrupt. I mean, Hisama produces light and light is opposite of shadow or Kage. And Kage-sama used to tell me opposites attract. So what's stopping you now? Just sign the damn paper so we can end our business. Then I can end the beloved parallel world Hisama created. At least in one world, Hisama ended up with Tsuki. At least in one world, Kage-sama ended up with you, say. So please, sign them. I, he, request a formal and official separation and void our bonding as of today until forever. Another string of golden words flew in front of Moon and Tsuki, forming into a sheet of paper on Moon's lap. Sign. I, Tsuki, sign the request of separation and agree to void our bond. Really? Hisama, I made my choice long before today. You're happy with Kage-sama, so be happy with him, without thinking about me. My counter didn't stop. Neither did Kage's. We just wanted to see if yours stopped. Because like both of us, you both never showed us your pain, your struggles. You shared them with each other. Of course we knew those were your tears, and we didn't play with them. Kage wanted to make a new constellation. I wanted to fix my mistake in the parallel world with the moon orb. We weren't out frolicking around. We were searching for a string made by 1,000 shooting stars. 2 of them. To complete the constellation and the moon orb. We just wanted to give you guys something. But since you both wanted us out of your lives, we'll leave. He took the frozen Kage's hand and gripped it hard. Kage was frozen, in shock and heartbreak, eyes never leaving the paper in his hand, reading and continuously rereading the words Seiza had said. Not believing he was holding the one thing Seiza swore he would never give him hundreds of years ago. He signed the request of separation. I revoke my request and behest the paper turned to ashes at this moment. Coward! Moon pat Tsuki's head, then ripped the paper on his lap, letting it turn to small stars flying back to the sky. Tsuki, you motherfucking coward. Hey, you love this coward, right? Tsuki hoisted Moon up from his lap and made his way to He. His tears haven't fallen yet, but he had big, angry tears flowing down his cheeks. He's eyes were glued on Tsuki, showing his anger at the sarcastic and rhetoric question pitted his way moments after revoking his request to divorce. Please say you do. Tsuki was now in front of He, His arms had reached out to encircle his waist while his hand reached for the wrist whose hand still held Kage's. I'm begging you. Their foreheads were against each other's and his eyes softened, for he saw for the very first time tears streaming down Tsuki's face. Please, tell me you love me. Tsuki meant for it to be a command, yet it came out as a plea, one he couldn't believe came from his mouth. And he couldn't do anything else but close his eyes as his husband looked up at him. Tsuki, this is the foulest play you could ever give me. And it fucking works. He let go of Kage's hand and placed both of his hands on each side of Tsuki's face. Tsuki, I love you. I love you so fucking much, you meanie coward. A transparent full moon, much like the crescent moon Tsuki left Moon on, appeared and swallowed the two gods whole. The two inside sat on the plush cloud-like bed and littered the floor with moonstones and sunstones. A sun, much like the full moon but bigger and not transparent, appeared. It ate the moon, resulting to the watchers clueless as to what was happening inside. The sun floated to beside the crescent moon and stayed there. Kage, on the other hand, was still frozen, but his eyes were no longer on the paper. The paper was crumpled in his hand as he stared holes at the back of a curled-up Seiza. Seiza was surrounded by constellations, as if the stars were comforting him while they danced around him. Kage sighed with solemn, downcasted eyes. He sat down on the floor with crossed legs and waited for the shadows to bring Seiza to him. The shadows emitted by the floor below Seiza swallowed him whole together with his constellations. They reappeared with Seiza's head on Kage's, facing up, and the constellation chasing off the shadows. Well, it took me 13 years to break your trust, yet it took over 1,000 years to get you to marry me, plus 450 more in married time. You really don't trust me, huh? Well, Hisama is the literal ball of sunshine. He's literally one of the many stars that creates your shadows. And you hold constellations of stars. Yeah, I do. But I never could get you to smile at others. Kage combed through Seiza's fairly long hair. So you were jealous. Seiza looked up at him with stardust falling from his eyes. Of course I was, dum-dum. Oh, Seiza, I didn't know I bought him for a crybaby. That's kinda why I didn't talk for over 100 years and counting. Yeah. So... Kage brought his other hand up and waved the paper still crumpled in it. Wanna tell me why you decided to break your oath to me? Seiza blushed red and turned his back to the others in the room, facing the waist of Kage. Privately, please. Yes. The constellation dispersed and the shadows from the room rushed towards them and enclosed them in a ball. The moment all gods were nowhere to be seen, Shoyo blinked up at a guilty-looking Kei while Tobio stared holes at a blushing Tadashi. Drama queen, green-haired freckles. Look, they had reasonable reasons. So they were married for over 300 years, but all it took to literally see you cry was 3 years of accused frolicking with my best friend? Very much reasonable, if you ask me. So you claim not to be jealous when me and Sho hang out together, but your god self clearly threw a tantrum over accused frolicking, when god me had to court you for over 1,000 years. I'm not a green-haired freckles pun from Green-Eyed Monster. Pigs fly, Dashi. Tsuki, back me up here. We're losing this battle. Ew, why was Tsuki such a drama queen? Well, sorry, sunshine. We just love to be a cliche diva. Facts. I can't argue with that one. So, Sun was pacing back and forth in front of the couch Kageyama laid. Can you guys please send us back and let us die? To be continued.